Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to a quick unhaul video. A few weeks now probably back, I cleaned these shelves and I found a few books that I want to unhaul, and I also had a huge box of books. Well, the box is huge. It's not full yet, so there's still space for books, but anyways, a certain amount of books was in the box and I decided to just film an unhaul video because that's what does. I am not sure whether or not I have shown you some of these books in a previous unhaul video. I am too lazy to check, sorry. I have mentioned my laziness before, I think so. To those of you who have been with me for a while, it will come as no surprise. To those of you who are new here, well, ta-da, I'm lazy. Certainly in some aspects of my life, and this is one of them. Anyways, I have a few books that I want to unhaul for various reasons. Some I have read and I'm not gonna read anymore or reread ever again. My taste has changed. Some I have not read. I've bought them with a good intention of reading them, but I just don't care about them anymore. So various reasons, I will probably state them as we go, but maybe not, I don't know, I'm just a mess, so who knows. The first book that I have here is one that I really liked when I read it. It's The Secret Year by Jennifer R. Hubbard. This is a YA contemporary about, I somewhat remember, about this guy who was in love with this popular girl and they were sort of together, but then I think something happens to them, but nobody knew about their relationship or anything like that, so it's just a short, quick, contemporary read. I kept it for a long time because it's not a new book. It's, oh well, here we go, we're getting lost. It's from 2010, so you know, I kept it for a while, but now it will have to go. The next book that I have here is one that's very popular on BookTube, and that is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender by Leslie Walton. I got this book because everybody was raving about it, and last year I finally managed to read it, and magical realism, I don't think it is for me. I will give another one of these books a try, a magical realism ones, but really I just didn't care for it. It's about generations of women from this family that all have some quirkiness to them basically, and the last of them is Ava Lavender, and I just maybe missed what it was trying to say. I don't know. The writing was beautiful, but aside from that, I didn't get anything out of it. So it will go and find a better home, I hope. Then we have another one that I read last year. We Are All Completely Beside Ourselves by Carey and Joy Fowler. And this is sort of a book that talks about a certain experiment, which you find out about, well, you know about it, but what the actual subject of the experiment is, you find somewhere between, I don't know, midway through the book. And well, I was not a huge fan of it. Aside from that, it would be a good book. If not for that, it disturbed me. There's animals involved and I just found it completely... we sometimes make experiments that are really pointless. I mean, we don't have to know everything. Basically, it's my opinion. Sometimes, yes, some things definitely, but some things are just pointless and probably for our egos or whatever. Then I have a very popular book, and one that it's been talked about lately quite a lot because they are basically coming out with a new cover and the sequel is coming out and I'm getting rid of it. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it or anything. I'm talking about Vicious by V. Schwab. No, it's not that I didn't enjoy it or anything. This might be actually my favorite of her books. It's just that I'm sort of done with her, which might be a complete lie because when she comes out with the next book, I might be buying it. Who knows? I love her writing. I adore it. And I love her books while I'm reading them. I've talked about this before. But after that, I just sort of find them meh. Like a week or so after, once the magic is gone. I don't know. I'm weird. But I don't know how to explain it. So this is basically about two guys who get superpowers by killing themselves, and then there's this huge feud between them and they just do stupid things for no reason. But I really enjoyed this book. It's great. If you love Victoria Schwab, if you love sort of villains as main characters. It's a really good book. I don't know, I might keep this one actually, now that I'm talking about it. I'm not sure. Then I have an arc of the Royal Basterds by Andrew Schwartz. I got this last year, and oh, what is it about? Good question. I can't remember. It's a young adult fantasy. Again, there's different kingdoms, I think, and they're sort of feuding. There's yeah, they have all the ruling members have bastards, and the bastards are sort of, I don't know, they're viewed differently in the society. I'm not sure how differently because I can't remember anymore. But for some reason they get into a bit of a trouble, and they're, you know, they're meant to die. So they go on the run and try to get to safety, and I enjoyed it while I read it, but it's been happening a lot lately when I read a book, and then when it's time to buy a sequel, I just, you know what, I just don't care about it anymore. So I really wish that sequels would not come out every year or so. If they came out closer together, I would definitely be interested in more series as I am right now. It's just weird. Anyways, then I have Stephen King's Carey. I buddy read that with Amber from Amber Reads. Was it last year? Maybe two, I don't know. 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I don't know. We read it, and this was my first Stephen King book. It will probably not be the last one, but well, this is an okay book. It's not one that I will probably reread, and if I do decide to do that, I just hate this version of this book. This is about a girl who has a very strict religious mother, and she's being bullied at school, and one day she has enough, and she also happens to have superpowers of a kind, so things don't end up well. There's a bunch of movies made on that, from that, off of that book. So anyways, then I have a book that I read, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I read this, oh, I have no clue when, a long time ago. I was in elementary school, primary school, or high school, I'm not sure. I watched this version of the movie as well. I will probably get this book in another version, another edition, but this version will go. If you do not know what The Count of Monte Cristo is about, this guy gets imprisoned for reasons that I'm slightly foggy about right now, and years later he comes back and he wants revenge, and that's basically the gist of the story, and it's a huge book. You can also watch the movie. There's again a few versions of it. And then I have J.D. Salinger's Raise High, The Roof Beam Carpenters. I've read in high school, I read his Catcher in the Rye, and I loved it back then because I found it so relatable. You're a teenager and you just feel that all the adults are phony, and it just fit me so well. And I decided to pick a few of his other works up, but I think that was actually the only one that I liked. So I read this one, and also Franny and Zoe, and I don't remember how I liked that one, but better than this one. Then I have a history, The Penguin History of the USA by Hugh Brogan. Bought it, I don't know, I must have watched a documentary or a movie, and it got me interested in the American history, and then it kept lying around and lying around and lying around, and the font is tiny. Of course, there's a bit of history to the USA, so I will find another way to educate myself about it whenever the time comes or my interest is picked again. The next book that I have is The Orchid Feed by Susan Orlean. I got this book because I watched a movie, and I think it was based off of this book somehow. I don't remember the movie. Oh, this is about some guy, I think, that steals orchids from the, you know, in Florida have swamps and all that, and I think that's basically what this is about. Not sure, or was the movie about that? Good question, I can't remember, but it's been lying around for ages, so it will have to go. Now, this is one of my favorite authors, Frances Mays. I love her Under the Tuscan Sun books. I love them, adore them. Right now I feel such need to reread them, and I will get to them as soon as I possibly can, but This is another of her books, and I think it depicts short stories from different locations that she and her husband have visited, and somehow I don't know, this might be another book that I keep because I love her writing. Her descriptions are so full of life. She sees everything around her in such a rich way, and I would love to feel like that, to experience life like that. So, maybe I will give this one another go, so forget about this one. This one is staying. Then I have, at some point back when I watched Generation Kill on HBO, I really got interested in reading the book Generation Kill, which I showed you in one of my videos. It's really similar to the TV show, but anyways, then I realized that one of the guys in that team of recon marines that we follow in that series actually wrote a book, and that is One Bullet Away by Nathaniel Fick. While I've read Generation Kill, I never got around to reading this one, so I've had it now for years, and I think it's time that it goes. So I should not look at it too much because I'm going to want to keep it, so I don't want to do that. Then I have Bret Easton Ellis's Less Than Zero. I watched the movie. It's that guy Dawson from Dawson's Creek played in it, and I cannot remember his name right now, and the whiny guy. Well, Dawson, yes. If it was Pacey, it would be, I'm sure, better, but it was Dawson. Jason Van Der Beek or something like that. Anyways, I watched the movie and I read the book, and honestly I cannot remember anymore what this is about. This is in my phase, well, not phase, I didn't have an actual phase. I only read 2 of Ellis's books. The other one is American Psycho, and I love that one. And then I picked this one as well, but I wasn't a huge fan of it, and I'm not going to keep it anymore. Then I have one of my, well, there they go. Then I have one of my favorite classics, and that is The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I love this I've read this a few times, and it's about Dorian, who's vain, very vain, and he gets into this company that sort of doesn't really have a great influence on him, and he also gets this portrait made, and things happen to the portrait and to Dorian. And anyways, I love this book. I'm just gonna get it in a different edition because this one I just don't care for. Then I have a Nicholas Sparks book, and there are a few books of his that I really like, such as Note in a Bottle. Then there was The Notebook, and what was that? The children, the kids one. I don't know. Can't remember. A Walk Through Memory, right? I love those 3, and I think I've seen movies of others, and I've probably read some others as well, but this is one that I'm not gonna read. I just don't care about it. Anyways, the choice, no clue what this is about. I think there's a movie based off of it, and is that the one with Zac Efron? I'm not sure. It could be. Or is it? I don't care. Just 1 second. Another book that I'm getting rid of is maybe gonna shock you a bit. It's a very popular book, again, here on BookTube, and that is The Storied Life of AJ Fikri by Gabrielle Zevon. I like this book. It made me cry, but I'm still not keeping it. It's about this guy who has a bookstore in a remote town, and he didn't have the best of life, and things start changing for him. Again, I'm not gonna keep it. That's just it. Then there's one book that I read this year, and I listened to it, and that is American Gods by Neil Gaiman. This is one of the first Neil Gaiman books that I didn't care for that much. I wanted to watch the TV show, and I'm not going to do that either. It's about a bunch of gods, old gods, because people, when they got to America, they of course brought their religions with them, and their gods sort of followed, but then now they're finding themselves at war basically with modern gods, such as television, shopping and such, and this guy gets entangled into that mess. It has, I'm sure, great themes and all that, but and I love the writing because it's Neil Gaiman, but I'm still not going to keep it. But I do have a few of his other books that I have to get to, so hopefully I will like those better. You know, I love the Graveyard book, and what else? I'm not really sure right now. But yes, this one is a goner. And while we're on the subject of Neil Gaiman, yeah, anyways, I'm also getting rid of Good Omens, which was co-written, well, by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. This is the only no, it's not the only Terry Pratchett book that I read. I read one other from his Discworld series. I read this one a while back, and I kept getting this visions of Supernatural, the TV show. I don't know, it felt so similar in a way. But yeah, it's about the Antichrist, I think, rising and stuff like that, demons and angels working together even and stuff like that. It was fun to read, but I don't know, I just don't want to keep it because I will not reread it basically. Then I have a couple of books. One I read, the other one I didn't, and that is actually, I'm talking about the series. It's The Trial by Fire by Josephine Angelini. This first book I read, and the sequel, which is Firewalker, I didn't. It's about this girl who somehow she lives in Salem, I think, yeah. And she gets pulled into a different version of parallel universe, basically. And in that other Salem, she's a witch and she is bad. So she has to sort of face herself. I guess you could, yeah, as a metaphor that would work really well. And I was really excited back then because I do like Josephine Angelini's works. I read that her series that was based off of Greek mythology, and there was Goddess Dreamless, and I don't know, I like that one. And you know, I'm sure that I would like this one, but so much time has passed since I read this first one that I'm not interested in them anymore. Simple as that. Then I have two beautiful books, ones that I really enjoyed actually while I read them, and you can guess who the author is. It's V. Schwab. I have This Savage Song and Our Dark Duet. I absolutely adore these covers, but like most, I'm not going to keep books for their covers. I don't know. If you don't know what these are about, these take place in a city called Verity, and monsters reign there, and monsters basically are manifestations of people's evil deeds. Depending on what crime you commit, a certain kind of monster is gonna pop up, and the city is divided into two parts. One is fighting against monsters, and the other one is trying to use monsters to control people basically. And we follow two characters, of course, young adults. There's no romance, if that is your jam. You can definitely pick them up, and these books are good, but I'm just really not gonna reread them, so no sense in me keeping them. Another book that I have is, well, The Diary of Anne Frank. I read this, I don't know, I think it was primary school, so I really don't need, I don't feel the need to keep it. We all know, or at least we have heard of her, right? She was a young girl, Jewish girl, trapped in Germany during the Second World War, and she wrote a diary, and I liked it when I read it, but I don't feel that I will ever read it again. And if I do, so yes, I can also, you know, always get another copy. Then I have a book that I never picked up. I actually bought it because when I was doing when I was going for my certificate of proficiency in English from Cambridge, we were supposed to read one of the books that was on the list, and this book was on the list as well, but I decided to go with another one, and that was The Accidental Tours by Anne Tyler, which is my only Anne Tyler book that I read, but I really loved it, so I do recommend it. But the other one was L.P. Hartley's The Go-Between, which is, think about a boy that sort of gets entangled between these two people that are having an affair. And in the 1900s, summer of the 1900. Actually, I'm still unsure whether or not I will get rid of this book. I love the cover, but I also sort of am interested in the subject. So, I mean, the book itself, it sounds like it's going to be interesting. So this one again might end up on the staying here pile, but we shall see. Then I have another one. I watched the movie and I love the movie, but I just couldn't pick up the book, and that is Atonement by Ian McEwan, which is, as I said, I watched the movie with Keira Knightley, and him. I love him, but I can't remember his name. I can't remember. Anyways, this is a book about basically a couple and a sister, and it's a mess. Yeah, I really the synopsis, it would be weird. I don't know. This woman is in love with this boy, and then things sort of explode when certain information comes out about him, and it's just a mess after that. Basically, it's a terrible synopsis, but that's the best I can do right now. Then I have two books that I will, maybe I would one day read them, but I've had them for ages, so it's not very likely. And they're both by John Irvin, and I have no clue what either of them are about. Well, except the Cider House Rules. I watched the movie, so, well, no, I still don't know what it's about because it's been a long time, so I don't know. And the other one is Setting Free the Bears. When I watched the movie, I sort of felt like I was going to be interested in the books as well. And years later, we're still here. We still have these two books that are unread, and I have another one that I have. So, you know, no sense in keeping them. I'm just either going to borrow them, get another version of them, or whatever, whenever the time comes. But yeah, those were all the books that I wanted to talk about. If you have read anything that I should keep, let me know down in the comments. I'm, you know, open-minded relatively to these kind of suggestions. But yes, I hope you enjoyed it. Getting rid of books is actually a relief. It's a relief. You know, I love getting books, but also getting rid of them is just as much fun. So, well, almost as much. But anyways, thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!